The Tigers tamed Texas 8-2 behind a dominant performance from Kade Anderson and the offense. We're recapping it. Locked on LSU. Let's go.
You are Locked On LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked On LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We are free, available wherever you get podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you so much for that. LSU beats Texas 8-2 in the series opener. What a win for the Tigers. If you're new to this format, I'll remind you, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes of my reaction to the game. We'll grab a break, and when we come back, it's you and your questions and interaction. So please drop those comments in live. If you're listening on podcast or watching on demand, be sure to join us live on the Locked On LSU YouTube channel. As soon as the game goes final, we go live. So thank you for being here with us. Okay. Love this game. If you're an everydayer, you heard my series prediction. I picked LSU to lose this series 2-1. And a lot of the reasons were you had a bunch of unanswered questions. I think this will probably surprise some of you if you haven't paid attention to it yet. But LSU has been very impressive this year. However, they've been impressive with an RPI of 55. That's atrocious because LSU played one of the worst non-conference schedules we've ever seen. Let's just call it what it is, y'all. It's Purdue, Fort Wayne, it's Omaha. So you've stacked up gaudy statistics, but who have you done it against? So this was an opportunity to go on the road against what is by far the best frontline arm you've seen to this point. I'm not saying it's the best arm you're going to see all year, but the best to this point that you see in Spencer. And you're playing your first true road conference game against an offense that is pesky, works counts, makes pitchers throw strikes, and works walks. Well, what's been LSU's bugaboo? The inability to throw strikes. For those reasons, I looked at this series and was like, I mean, you side with the home team. You go into a weekend like this and you start to confirm or disconfirm what you think about both teams, right? Because now you're seeing, like, I came into this weekend going, okay, like, I know Jared Jones can hit SEC pitching. I know Josh Pearson and Stephen Milam and Michael Braswell can hit SEC pitching. I don't know if Luis Hernandez can. I don't know if Derek Curiel can. I don't know if Daniel Dickinson can. I think they can, but we haven't seen him do it. So let's see how that goes. So you go face a lefty, with a nice 4-pitch mix, who's throwing mid-90s, and that's a challenge that you haven't faced this year. And all LSU did in this ball game, every one of the starters got on base. You scored 8 runs on 13 hits. And by the way, you left 13 runners on base. This could have been so much worse than it was. But Curiel was 2 for 4. Jones was 2 for 6 in this ball game. By the way, I love the 2 RBI single that Jones put up in the 7th. I mean, it shows the maturity of him as a hitter, the willingness with runners at second and third and 2 outs. They're pitching him away, just go bing, and just dink one into right field to score 2 runs. Brilliant team-oriented hitting by Jared Jones. That's going to make him so much money. Dickinson was 1 for 3. Fry was 1 for 2 with a walk, got on base a couple of times. Stephen Milam was 1 for 3. Pearson was 1 for 3. Hernandez, I'm going to talk about Hernandez's day. He had 3 hits in the ball game. Braswell had a knock on the safety squeeze that scored a run and ultimately came home. Stanfield had a beautiful hit the other way. A guy that's starting to hit to all fields as well. He was 1 for 5. Everybody in your lineup hit. And when everybody in your lineup hits, you put so much pressure on a pitching staff because there's no automatic out in that lineup. And that's what LSU developed tonight. You hope that continues. So a couple of takeaways in this ball game. I love that you only had to use 2 pitchers. It's a shame that we are 5 minutes into the show, and I haven't yet lauded Kade Anderson, who was awesome. You want to talk about unknowns? Look, last year, Kade Anderson was awesome in the non-conference. You get to SEC play, Kade Anderson's ERA was 27 in the SEC. 27. Okay, like he couldn't get SEC hitters out. Look at the maturity. His command's better. His velo is up a tick. Everything about his presence on the mound is better. Kade Anderson tonight showed you he is every bit a Friday night ace in the SEC. 6 innings, 2 runs on 7 hits, struck out 8, and here's the key, walked 0. Talked about it all week leading up to this series. Texas's lineup, like with Ballou, who's the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, they're top heavy. They don't have great depth in their lineup 1 through 9. There's a couple of guys that can beat you. You want to hurt yourself, you start giving away free passes. You put guys on base, walk, hit by pitch, then double. That's how you lose to a team like this. You give them base runners. Tonight, Kade Anderson, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Zach Cowan comes in the 7th, gets the final 9 outs, 3 strikeouts, no walks. LSU's pitchers, 11 strikeouts, no walks, no hit by pitch, no wild pitches. You gave them nothing in this ball game. You didn't walk a batter, didn't hit a batter, didn't throw a wild pitch, didn't give up a base. You gave them nothing. When you have an offense like that is struggling. Remember, Texas came into this series hitting 297 as a team, which at the end of the season, that might be pretty good, but in a pre-conference, that's not very good. That nets you at the bottom of the conference. Well, when you come in like that, that's telling you just don't put them on base. And today, Anderson and Cowan were awesome at that. Now, I do question, in fairness, throwing Zach Cowan in that spot. You are up 8-2. You were up 6 runs in this ball game. There was no reason up 8-2 to go to Zach Cowan and have him throw 55 pitches because he's burned for the weekend. Now, what that did is it preserved your bullpen. Now you have everybody else for the next 2 days. You've got Ianson and Shore starting Saturday, Sunday, and you got everybody else. You've got Evans and you got Binge and you got William Schmidt. You got anybody you want to use. Primo, they're all there. That's the benefit of this. The downside is you've burned now Zach Cowan because coming into this weekend, I tell you, there's 2 guys that you really trust is Evans and Cowan. Well, now you burned Cowan. Now you got the win. So now all you got to do is split the next 2 to win the series. That's a great spot to be in. And Cowan was great. Struck out 3, walked nobody. Gave up a couple of hits there in the 8th, but worked around it. 1, 2, 3 in the 9th was awesome. I think that's a fair question. Now, the flip side of this, and this is the great news, okay? Here is the phenomenal news. Texas has 2 good frontline starters. All right. One of them being Spencer, who you saw in this ball game. And you fared very well. Spencer in the game, by the way, his final stat line, you ran up his pitch. God, this was so brilliant to watch the LSU offense work. You ran up 96 pitches on Spencer in 5 innings. Remember, the average you want to be 12 to 15 pitches an inning. So max you'd want to be through 5 is 75 pitches. He was at 96. The fact that he was at 50 pitches through 2 innings told you this was not going to be a long day. You touched him up for 4 runs and 7 hits. He struck out 7, but you made him work. He hit a guy. He walked 3. You worked counts, and it started at the very beginning of the game. I mean, the very first batter of the game, when Derek Curiel walked to start the game on a full count, this ended up being a 1, 2, 3. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a 9, 10 pitch at bat. 10 pitch at bat to start the game to draw a leadoff walk. Now, he didn't come around to score, but the bottom line is that's what you needed. You needed to drive up Spencer's pitch count, get him out of the game because Texas does not have a deep bullpen. They do not have a deep pitching staff. Spencer is a good lefty on Friday night. You took care of him. Tomorrow it's Luke Harrison, who's also very good. He's a junior lefty with an ERA of 2, 24 strikeouts, 10 walks, and 21 2/3 innings pitched. But after that, they got 2 good arms out of the bullpen. 2. And this was a very calculated risk by Jim Schlossnagle that I think was not very smart. It was a calculated risk, but Schlossnagle went to Duplantier, who had an ERA sub 2, an ERA in the 1s, the big righty who they brought in the game in the 6th, and they burned him for the weekend. He ended up throwing, I'll get you his pitch count here. Bear with me. He ended up throwing 46, so he's done for he went an inning and 2/3, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. You roughed him up, but he's 46 pitches. He's done for the weekend. So now you beat Spencer. They got 2 really good arms out of the bullpen, and one of them you roughed up, and he's done for the weekend. So Rojas is their other reliever who's really good. You haven't seen him yet, but the bottom line is right now this sets up great for LSU to be able to split the next 2. Even if Harrison goes out, deals, if Ianson's shaky and you lose, the bottom line is you go into game 3. And look, hopefully Ianson goes out and shoves and is awesome. But I'm saying even if you would assume worst case, you go into game 3 with Shores where they have a bullpen day. And they don't have good arms in the bullpen. And you'll have whoever you need on Sunday. So getting game 1 was so massive for LSU in this ball game. How about Luis Hernandez in this game? Oh, by the way, in his first at-bat of the ball game in the second inning, Jay Johnson had him sacrifice bunt. The run didn't come home to score because never sacrifice bunt. The next AB for Hernandez, Jay was going to have him sacrifice bunt, couldn't get the bunt down. Then what happened? Hernandez hit a 2-run homer to give you the lead and answer right after they scored a run in the bottom of the 3rd. You come back with the 2-run homer from Hernandez in the 4th. You put another 2 spot in the 5th, the big 4 spot in the 7th. That's all she wrote. Hernandez, a 3-hit day for the Tigers. That was awesome to see. So what did we learn, kids? Hashtag never bunt. Look, you want to bunt for a base hit? Great. You want to bunt to score a run? Cool. You want to bunt to sacrifice a run or you get. And in the situation, by the way, where Hernandez bunted, you had gone, I'm sorry, Milam bunted later in the game. Milam bunted later when they did score a run. And you went single with Dickinson, Fry, and then Milam gave himself up. So a pitcher who's leaving pitches up on the ropes, gives up back-to-back hits, and then you give him an out. No. Not interested in that ever. But anyway, a great day for the Tigers. We learned a lot about this team. Came in with questions, and you leave this game with a lot of answers. And I would say you flipped it. Right now, it's Texas who has to go back and look at themselves and say, yeah, we're probably not as good as we thought. The lineup, you wondered how deep the lineup is. Well, clearly they can't handle frontline SEC pitching. How good are your arms? Not great. Or if they're good, LSU's offense is super elite with the way that they handled Spencer, got him out of the game, and then Duplantier as well. So an all-around awesome day. Like if you're an LSU fan, you should be feeling really good about that win. I'll never overemphasize a win or overemphasize one loss. It's 1 out of 30, but you're 4-0 in the conference. You won your first true road conference game. By the way, shout out to all the LSU fans that were there. They were loud, and it was obvious on TV. But the things you had questions about, you answered in this ball game and flipped it to where now Texas is the team looking at itself going, man, we got some real things we got to work on. Thinking they were in a great spot after sweeping Mississippi State on the road last week and now coming home and losing to LSU the way they did. LSU looks every bit the part of a true national contender. Awesome win for the Tigers. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Quick break. When we come back, it's you and your questions. 434 of you watching live at 10:37 p.m. Central Time on a Friday night. This is why LSU baseball is awesome, y'all. You want to know why? When I have opportunities to leave or go to other markets and stuff, and people are like, and I explain to them this, there is literally not another place in the country. I mean this sincerely. There is not another place in the country where on a Friday night at 10:38 for a baseball game in March, when, by the way, the opening round of March Madness is going on, there's 455 people watching a baseball post-game live stream. That's why LSU baseball is an absolute ecosystem unto itself. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for being here. Come back. I'll get to your questions here on Locked On LSU, your team every day. We are all about the stats because numbers don't lie. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X, the numbers are on an MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds, it can quite literally carry the whole team, plus the gear, wherever you need to go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with room for up to 8 people, the Armada Pro 4X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-roads or rolling up to the arena, the Armada Pro 4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Today's show is also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy, and daylight savings snuck up on us again, y'all. If you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament or LSU baseball, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. It's also on-the-go convenience, y'all. If you're at the game, if you're traveling, 5 Hour Energy is easy to grab and keeping you refreshed. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find more than 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, peach mango. My personal favorite is the grape extra strength. You can even build your 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab 5 Hour Energy at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. So stock up today and stay energized with 5 Hour Energy. Okay, let's get to you. LSU beats Texas 8-2. Tigers move to 4-0 in conference play. And man, what a win for LSU, answering so many questions coming into this ball game. Let's get to your questions. Hunter Keys, another SEC win, maybe a sweep. Does the Texas pitching drop off? Love to see John Pearson get a chance to hit a bomb. So does the Texas pitching drop off? The answer to that, very frankly, is yes, they absolutely do drop off. I think undeniably, when you look at Texas, they are a team that is both on its pitching staff and offensively top heavy. I think this is the best way that I've described them. So, like, you saw Spencer tonight, and you handled him. Luke Harrison, who leads this, Spencer came in with a 2.36 ERA. Harrison led the team with 2.08 coming in. He's tomorrow. Ruger Rojas is their best reliever. We haven't seen him yet, but Andre Duplantier had a 1.64 ERA and was second on the team in appearances. So the two best arms out of the bullpen they have are Ruger Rojas, who you haven't seen yet, and Duplantier, who you saw tonight, and you roughed him up. So their top four arms are Harrison, Spencer, Rojas, and Duplantier. You saw two of them tonight and had no problem. I mean, you saw it. Once LSU put the game out of reach and they pulled Duplantier, they went to their up 10, down 10 guys. Like, let's just get through it. I think the pitcher who came in had 3 innings on the season. So, yes, they are very, very thin after the guys that you saw tonight. And there's a scenario, y'all, really. There's a scenario where Harrison pitches well tomorrow. They go to Rojas, and Texas can get home with those two guys. But after that, if hypothetically that's what they do, then they would go into Sunday bare bones. And you got Chase Shores and everybody else that you could potentially need. Connor O'Neill, good question. Didn't understand burning Cowan up 6. Great win nonetheless. So I agree with you. I tweeted it. It's my one big question was, if it were the general rule, right, is if it's a 4-run game, you're always within a swing of tying or taking the lead, tying, if you're down or up. So once you get past 4, that's when you start to use your quote unquote up 10, down 10 guys. I didn't love going to Cowan, very candidly. It was 8-2. You're up 6. You could have thrown anybody. And if it got dicey, you could get Cowan hot. Or if you ended up needing it, you could go to Case and Evans. Hopefully it didn't get to that. But that's a Texas team again offensively that struggled. So I agree with you. I didn't love going to Cowan. The flip side of it is you made it through game one with a win and you used two arms. Now you have everybody else at your disposal to try to split the next two games to get a series win. Club, great win for our boys. How about Curiel going opposite field on the shift? Glad you brought that up. So someone did ask about Derek Curiel and it being a dead pull hitter. And you heard Ben McDonald mention on the broadcast that half of his hits are to right field, the other half are to center and left. And I did actually get the spray chart for Derek Curiel after the last episode. And, you know, the person who brought that up, while I respected very much the question, is dead wrong. Like, I'm looking at the Derek Curiel spray chart right now for the entire season. I'm going to choose. I'll just do this and show you that I have it. The bottom line is when he hits the ball on the ground, primarily he hits it to the right side. But 40, 60, 72% of his balls in the air are to center or left. So overwhelmingly, you're talking about a guy that has shown the ability. I mean, I'm looking at a spray chart to hit to all fields. So the narrative that Derek Curiel is a dead pull hitter is flatly, statistically wrong. Yes, so great day. Awesome pitching performance. Hey, Brant, team is locked in. Drew, thanks for being there. Donovan, Will, Hernandez was awesome tonight. Zachary, appreciate everybody for being here with us on this show. Do me a favor if you're with us live, 483 live. Thank you all so much. Please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new, make sure you hit the bell to make sure that you're notified whenever we post a new video or go live. Brett mentions the plate discipline, working counts. It's a huge key for this LSU team, not only in this game, but all season. Their LSU offensively, if you give me 1 second, I'll pull this up. I'll pull up the number. LSU has the fewest strikeouts in the conference, and I believe they lead the SEC in walks. Let me make sure. LSU has struck out 124 times coming into this game. That was the fewest. And walks, LSU came into this game with 140 walks. Let's see. Tennessee had 164, Bama 150, Georgia 164. So LSU had the fourth most walks, and Kentucky has the fewest strikeouts at 119. So second fewest strikeouts, fourth most walks. So this is an LSU team that works counts, that doesn't strike out, that will take their walks. They're very patient at the plate. You saw it again tonight, which was awesome to see. Donovan only used two pitchers, didn't use Evans. We're here live. I haven't heard Jay Johnson's postgame. There's no doubt that's what he's thinking, right? There's no doubt that in his mind, he's going, I made it through game one with a win and only used two arms. I have everybody else to try to split the next two to win a series on the road. And I don't disagree with the logic. And I often say this in baseball, because it's a game of failure, as long as you have good logic with the reason that you did something, I can live with the result. So I understand it's not what I would have wanted him to do, but I'm not the coach. I certainly, again, if it was a 4-run game, I could get it. But, and the flip side of it is look at the risk that Jim Schlossnagle took, throwing Duplantier down 4-1. Typically, you wouldn't go to your great bullpen arm if you're losing, especially down 3. Maybe in a 1-run game, you might chance it. But, and that bit him because he burned one of his best arms now in a loss where Jay can say, okay, we used Anderson and Cowan, and they're both done for the weekend, but we're up 1-0 and have everybody to try to go split the next two games. Josh, thanks for being there. Thomas, thanks for being there. Only giving up no walks, 11 strikeouts is huge. Absolutely agree. GameCube Gamer, will you jump in the pool if LSU makes it to Omaha? Not if they make it to Omaha. How about if they win in Omaha? Maybe if they make it to Omaha, might do that as well. We appreciate y'all so much for being here with us. Let's see. Here at Eat Crow, only 2 pitchers used. Both were dominant. Walk issues disappeared. Bullpen held it down. Offense provided more cushion late. Pitching looked amazing. Tennessee will not beat us by 200. Well, I'll say this. My point about the walks up until this point had been, I know the number is high and it's impossible to ignore because you're looking for guys you can count on. But up until this point, the guys you have counted on have not been the guys that have given you the trouble with walks. Cooper Williams has had issues with walks. Jacob Myers has had issues with walks. That's more been your issue than your frontline guys putting people on base. But over the course of a weekend like this, you're going to need everybody. You're going to need guys to develop. But tonight was great. Let's see what the next 2 days look like. Now, this is true. Brett said it helped having a generous zone tonight, but it was consistent. I'm only using this one because it's fresh in my mind. When Jake Brown came off the bench to pinch hit, when they went to the righty reliever, they brought Brown in to replace Fry and put the left-handed bat Brown. The pitch that Brown struck out on was low and off the plate and terrible. However, in the next half inning, Kade Anderson was getting the same pitch. So this was a throwback strike zone to a different era of college baseball where umpires would give you pitches off the plate because everybody had a rocket launcher in their hand, and that's just was part of it. Tonight was one of those nights. It was a generous zone, but I thought he was consistent. Hey, Chef, thanks for being there. Houdat Tigers, thanks for being there. Christian, thanks for being there, man. Brian Penn, we appreciate everybody, y'all, for hanging out with us here. Let me get to some of the recent ones and scroll back, and we'll wrap this up here in about another 3 to 5 minutes. Was fooled on 10 low ones. I don't think he was fooled. I think he just had a wide zone, and he was consistent. Scott said, Curiel reminds me of Todd Walker, Warren Morris. Scott had Todd Walker on after further review this week, and I asked him, because remember, Todd Walker was the first LSU player ever to hit for 400 in a season, and he did it as a freshman. And so I asked him about Curiel, and the thing that Walker said was, Todd said, he said this before, but he said his whole objective as a freshman was don't strike out. Just don't strike out. He wasn't trying to get hits or hit for power, doubles, the singular objective was don't strike out. And you see a lot of that with Derek Curiel. You saw it in the first AB. 10-pitch at bat, drew a walk. Pester and foul him off. It's what makes you a great leadoff hitter, too. You're unafraid of hitting with 2 strikes. You'll foul pitches off. You'll have a good eye and good takes. Listen, Todd Walker is the best pure hitter I've ever seen at LSU. I don't know that I'm going to go there with Derek Curiel 20 games into his freshman season, but the characteristics or the comp, because of the characteristics, the patience, the willingness to take walks, hit to all fields, all that certainly is there. Gregory, Brent, when does the conversation about Derek having the best freshman year in LSU history start? Again, let him do what Todd Walker did in 1992 and hit 400 as a freshman. Like, finish the season 400, and we'll certainly be having that conversation. But he's been awesome. Thaddeus, what's your favorite bar in Tigerland? It's always Fred's, man. It's always been Fred's. Fred's loves you. Shout out to Jason A, Mark Frioli, and the whole gang. Big Red, all the guys over at Fred's. Greg, thank you for being there. Darren, how many hit by pitches do we have so far? We got to be closing in on leading the nation, if not number one. LSU hitters so far this season have been coming into tonight. We're hit 41 times. Florida with 50, Georgia with 66, Kentucky with 57, South Carolina 42. So LSU's right in the middle of the pack. Of the Southeast. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, LSU's right in the middle of the pack of the SEC. So not leading the country. Guy Brooks, what's the pour tonight? Ice cold Bud Light, y'all. Not going whiskey. I got some crawfish. Drink crawfish and Bud Light. That's what I did. So I cracked open a few Bud Lights and enjoyed a few buds and boils and baseball. I love spring, y'all. God, I love spring so much. Yo, I love baseball so much. I love the springtime so much. It's just an amazing time. So, in any event, appreciate y'all for being here with us. Rocky said Jay using Cowan shows how important beating Texas in game 1 is. Don't want to give him any life, slam the door. That's the objective, right? And I'm sure that's what he's going to say. Was he had a chance to run a guy out there and win game 1 and finish the game, and he did. And that's great. And he's got to make that decision, not you and me. The thing that I would tell you is there's 2 guys in the bullpen who I am really confident in, Cowan and Kason Evans. And you burn one of them tonight. So in the next 2 days, you're going to have to rely on some guys to have really good performances. Now, I think I know what he'll do. Like if you need middle relief now, right? Because Cowan's a guy that can extend. If you need middle relief, well, Connor Benj is going to be the guy. Jay said before the midweek game Tuesday, they wanted to try to get Benj back out there, get him some work. They didn't. So he's fresh and ready to go. Benj is a guy who you could definitely run out there to get you 9 outs in the middle of the game if you need it. You have Evans available, and you have William Schmidt, who you know can extend too. Primo last week threw in all 3 games, so you know he can give you length, and he can also pitch on multiple days. You've got options. You got plenty of arms. If you need a guy in a spot to get a strikeout, of course, you can go to Jacob Myers. I mean, the ball explodes out of his hands. One of the top strikeout pitchers a year ago. Be mindful of the walks, but again, he was good in the midweek. So you feel good about where they are, no doubt. Okay, y'all. Let's see if I can maybe get 1 or 2 more in here. We'll wrap this up. We're at 32 minutes. Let's see, Wolfmaster getting the 1 victory this game. Change your prediction for the weekend. Oh, well, sure. Absolutely. I mean, look, my prediction is what it was, candidly. I mean, I'm not running from that. I picked Texas to win this series 2-1. And I think LSU, no matter what happened this weekend, had a great chance of winning game 3. Because Texas, that's a bullpen day for Texas. And LSU will have shores and depth of arms. So I think LSU has a great advantage in game 3 because, like we talked about with Texas, great frontline starters and a couple of good arms out of the bullpen. So you could see a world where if Anderson struggled, Spencer could have gotten a win tonight, right? I mean, they led early. You could see it with Harrison tomorrow. If Ianson doesn't have his best stuff, maybe they get a lead and you're not able to come back. Like you could see that unfolding. I really like LSU in game 3 a lot. So let's see how tomorrow goes. But yes, the fact that you've already gotten 1 is huge. How about Hunt Palmer? By the way, you can read Hunt Palmer. I would strongly encourage, I haven't done it yet. I'll do it as soon as we finish here. You go read Hunt Palmer's game recap over at LouisianaSports.net. Over Anderson on Ianson outs tomorrow, 12.5. So Hunt's asking, do I think Ianson will get through 4? Here's the thing, Hunt. Ianson last week didn't struggle with command. I don't know that Ianson issued a walk last week, as a matter of fact. I'm going to check it real quick if you'll give me a quick second. Ianson last week, here it is, I got it right here. Against Missouri, went 3 2/3, struck out 5, 1 walk. Forgive me. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. He just gave up 7 hits and 4 runs. He just didn't miss any bats. So I don't know that Texas presents any greater a threat offensively than Missouri did. And I think Ianson's stuff is pretty good. Can he be fine enough to miss enough bats so that he can extend into this ballgame and find outs? I hope so. I'll go over Hunt because I think his command has been good. He didn't miss any bats against Nebraska, and he didn't miss many bats last week against Missouri. I'll go over. I think it's safe to say I'll go over. I'll say Einstein gets you through 5, and hopefully they have a lead, and maybe they can go binge Evans to finish it, is what I would like to see, and go win the series and then throw everything you got at him in game 3. But I'll go over 12.5 outs for Einstein tomorrow. So it's saying he'll get at least through 4 1/3. All right. One more, latest on Guidry. What I've been told about Guidry is he's got a back issue. Some of y'all have mentioned to me some of the rumors that are out there. I can tell you definitively that's not true. I mean, he's with the team. You see him at home games on the top step of the dugout. He's got an issue. I'd rather not say specifically what I've been told because I don't have it confirmed. I have it from one source, specifically what the issue is. But it's a back thing, and they're not going to rush it. So, okay, let's get out of here, y'all. Thanks so much for being there. If you're with us live, please smash the like button on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video or we go live. Remember, tomorrow, as soon as Game 2 goes final, we'll be live right here again, then on Sunday again. So we'll look forward to seeing you then. If you're listening on podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app, rate us, leave a review, and let a friend know that if they love the Tigers, we got you here every single day for Locked On LSU, your team every day.